In this lecture, we are going to learn Accounting Standard 12, Accounting for Government Grants. So what are practically government grants? Is monetary or non-monetary aid which is received by a businessman because he is doing something good, because he is doing something in priority sector, because government feels that this type of business should be boosted up. So government gives a financial or non-financial help to this type of business. What we are concerned in AS12 is accounting for that government grants. So let us start with the AS with the point, who is government? So it is defined in AS10. Government refers to government. Central or state government will be a government. Is it correct? Government agencies. So business which is partly or fully owned by government. Local authorities. It is defined in this manner. Government agencies or enterprise whether it is local, national or international. Local will be your municipal corporation, state government, central government, businesses or the units which are owned by government or they are government units. All right. Railways, all the things which are even international bodies like WHO. This will be treated as government, and ultimately grant received from this. We are going to learn accounting treatment for that particular grant received. Sorry. Second definition is government grants. So what are government grants? As I told you, it is cash or kind. They are assistance in cash or kind. They are assistance in cash or kind to an enterprise for past or future compliance with certain conditions. Now definition says, but sometimes the grants are not conditional, but believe me, it is very rarest of the rare case. Otherwise, when government gives you grant, there will be some conditions attached to it. So government will give you 5 crore rupees and will say that you need to construct a building for research. So that will be a condition attached to that particular grant. So it is cash or kind assistance. So in money or non-monetary, which is given to an enterprise by a government for past or future compliance. So either you need to build a building or you need to give salary to your research staff, or there might be any other condition. Is it all right? And assistance, of course, are given by government. It is by government. So what are government grants? It is assistance given by government in cash or kind for compliance of certain conditions. These are government grant. So most important two words, one is government, another is government grant. We have understood. Please understand in layman terms, this is a help, monetary or non-monetary, given by government to businessmen or to enterprise, will be termed as government grants. We are going to next point. if we receive government grants, what are approaches to record it? Whenever you receive government grant, what are approaches to record it? They are treated as shareholders fund. So either it will be added to equity share capital. Can anything be added in equity share capital? No. So it will be added in some type of reserves which forms part of shareholders fund. Another is income approach. All right. So what is shareholders fund? Will be I don't know where this is going, but let me write it down again. Approach is divided into two parts. One is the shareholders fund, another is income approach. What happens in shareholders funds is, in shareholders fund, ultimately it is credited to reserves. Now capital or any other reserve is a different thing. Is it all right? It is credited to some reserves. Is it all right? Income approaches, it is credited to profit and loss account. Not necessarily in current year. It might be spread over different years. Is it all right? So if you have received 5 lakhs rupees, you might credit P&L account by 1 lakh. Again by 1 lakh in next year, again by 1 lakh in next to next year, and in 5 years you credit P&L account total by 5 lakhs. Is it all? So those are approaches to record government grants. Next point that we are going to learn is recognition of government grants. When government grants should be recorded as your income, either in shareholders fund or in P&L account, but when it should be recorded, see in part 2 of your accountancy, in advanced accountancy subject, you will be having AS9 revenue recognition, when the revenue should be recognized. But as we are learning specific income, which is government grants, the recognition principles are given under AS12, that is accounting for government grant. It is basically when you can credit your income either in shareholders funds or in P&L account, but when following conditions are satisfied. See, I'll give you an example. Government is ready to give you a grant of 5 crore rupees for construction of a building. There is a condition that company should be having 5 acres of land on which this building is to be constructed. The construction of building cost will be given by government. Now company is not having that 5 acre land. Neither company is in position to acquire the land in nearby areas. 5 acre of land is possible, not possible, not possible. So even if government is ready, even if government has passed the rules and regulations that 5 crore rupees grant will be given, this grant cannot be recognized as income in our books of accounts. Because even if it is received, it will be refunded. We cannot satisfy the conditions which are attached to this government grant. So what question we are learning? When we can recognize government grant, recognition of government grant, and these are the conditions. Number 1, it should be recognized only when there is a reasonable assurance that grant will be received. See, ultimately it is received from government. You might receive it, you might not receive it. When you should recognize as income, when you feel that there is a reasonable assurance. Now the chief minister has signed, now the finance minister has signed the bill, and you are having a reasonable assurance that you are going to receive the grant, then only you should record it. And it is not or, it is and. Enterprise will comply with conditions attached to grant. Say government is giving 5 crore rupees to all pharmaceutical companies to construct the building, as we have taken an example. Those who are having 5 acres of land, or those who are ready to purchase in nearby area 5 acres of land. Is your company in position to purchase 5 acre of land, or is having 5 acre of land? The answer is no. You should not recognize this government grant. Which condition should be satisfied? One or both? They are both the conditions that should be satisfied to recognize government grant. This is conditions, criteria for recognition of government grant. So when any practical question is asked for recognizing government grants, two things should be understood. There should be reasonable certainty that the government grant will be received. Number two, there should there should be reasonable assurance that enterprise will be complying with all the conditions attached to the grant. This is recognition of government. Third one is methods. Of recording government Now, government grants might be received for depreciable assets. Government grant might be received for depreciable assets. So government is giving you grant for purchasing machinery, which ultimately is a depreciable asset for your enterprise. Start it. Might be giving you grant for non-depreciable asset. And third, might be giving you revenue grant. We will be understanding how to record all this particular grant. I think the grants headings are very simple. Government is giving you some financial or non-financial aid for purchasing depreciable asset, for purchasing non-depreciable asset, and other are revenue grant. For expenditures, they are giving you grant. Starting. Say revenue grant, I'll explain you. Right now in the era of COVID-19, if government gives grant to pharmaceutical company that you hire 10 scientists, 20 scientists, the salary will be paid by government so that they can find a cure for coronavirus. Is it all right? So this might be a type of revenue grants where the grant is given not for assets but for expenditures. Is it all right? So how to record a depreciable asset government grant? Two parts. Cost reduction method. Another is differential approach. It is income differential. What are this? We are going to learn depreciable asset, cost reduction method, or the income differential approach. Non-depreciable asset, whenever the grant is received, either it is transferred to capital reserve or again income differential approach. Again, there are two methods whenever you are receiving grant for non-depreciable asset. Sorry. When you are receiving revenue grants, it should be credited to profit and loss account systematically over the period related to grant. Here also there are two parts. Try to concentrate. It can be separately credited to P&L account, or it can be reduction from cost. Stop it. This is an overview of your 50% or 70% of AS, which says accounting for government grants. Then we'll be going to refund. This chart is not including refund. But before refund, everything is covered in this particular chart. Yes, all the methods one by one will be learning, but try to understand these are the exhaustive methods given in AS12 for accounting for government grants. We are going to depreciable assets. Let's start it. Government grants for depreciable assets. What are the two methods? Reduction from cost See, a very simple thing. Your cost of asset, let me take this example for both the case. Your cost of asset is 1 lakh rupees. It will be depreciated over 5 years. Scrap value is 0. But you have received government grant of rupees 40,000 on this asset. That as you have purchased this asset, government will give you a free 40,000 rupees because you have purchased this type of asset. Is it alright? First method, reduction in cost. Is it alright? See, if practically there was no government grant, let me write this down even. If there was no government grant, the depreciation would have been 20,000 rupees per annum. But there is a government grant, and the first method is a reduction from cost. What does it mean? Now onwards, cost will be 1 lakh. You spend 1 lakh rupees, but what you have got back? 40,000 rupees, as name suggests, reduction from cost. So from now onwards, your cost will remain 60,000 rupees of asset. So what will be depreciation for first year? Will be 60,000 divided by 5. It is 12,000. Second year, 12,000. Third year, 12,000. Fourth year, 12,000. Fifth year. Sir, government grant is income. Income should be credited to P&L account. where this 40,000 rupees is credited to P&L account. Believe me, it is credited. Not exactly credited, but you are recording it in P&L account. Sorry. Had this not been the case, had you not received this 40,000 rupees, what would be your depreciation? 20,000. What you are saving every year? 8,000. You have written less cost in debit side of P&L account. You have written less figure in debit side of P&L account. It is as good as you are crediting P&L account by how much rupees? 8,000 rupees every year. 8,000 every year is, this is nothing but saving in depreciation, is nothing but 40,000 rupees. So instead of crediting 40,000 rupees in P&L account over the 5 years period, you have debited less amount, 8,000 rupees every year for 5 years, and so you are ultimately recording a government grant of 40,000 rupees. Is it all right? So this is the first method. What you need to do, whatever is received as a government grant, you should reduce from the cost and then find out the depreciation. This is only the logical point which I am explaining you. Is it all right? What is happening actually to government grant and how you are recognizing it as income. Is it all right? Second point is, by deferred income method. What will happen in this case? The cost will remain 1 lakh. Government grant will be credited to liability side of balance sheet by how much? 40,000 rupees. How many years this asset is to be depreciated? 5 years. So government grant will be recognized in P&L account. 40,000 divided by 5, that is 8,000 per annum, will be recognized as income in P&L account. So how your profit and loss account, debit side you will be recording depreciation, and credit side you will be recognizing government grant. What will happen in first year? You will be having depreciation of 1 lakh divided by 5. Why not 60,000 divided by 5? Because right now we are not reducing 40,000 from cost. Is it all right? So depreciation will remain 20,000 rupees. And government grant every year crediting, we will be crediting 8,000 in P&L. This is debit, this is credit. Second year same. Third, fourth, fifth year same thing will. So if you find out net, there is a debit of how much? 12,000 rupees in this particular asset. Of course, it is not directly 12,000 rupees, but net is 12,000 rupees from this asset. And believe me, these two methods are mathematically same. There is no difference. This using this method, your profit will not be affected. Your profit in profit and loss account is going to remain same. Is it correct? So either you directly reduce it from cost, it will be automatically routed through depreciation. In deferred income method, you treat your 40,000 rupees as an income, show it in liability side of balance sheet, and over the period of life of asset, you transfer or you recognize the government grant into profit and loss account. So what is this method? Government grant liability side recognized in P&L account in some logical manner. So this was government grant for depreciable asset. We have covered this particular point. Government grant for depreciable asset. We are going to second point. Government grant for non-depreciable assets. government grant for non-depreciable asset. What will happen in this case? If government is giving you cash or kind for non-depreciable assets without any conditions, or the conditions are very generic, that is, the conditions are very simple and easily solvable, is it all right? So practically you can say there are no conditions. Say they might say that the director should give personal guarantee. If director is giving personal guarantee, then you are receiving government grant, and that is not practically condition attached to it, is it all right? So if there are no conditions, government grant of non-depreciable asset, is it all right, will be credited to capital reserve. Try to understand. I am having capacity and machinery to install a oxygen plant right now. Right now, oxygen is in scarcity. Government says we will give you a land worth rupees 1 crore free of cost. All right, without any condition. They are not giving me condition that you should install the oxygen plant over here. Is all right. I can directly debit land account debit to capital reserve, or government directly gives me 1 crore rupees from PM CARES Fund without any condition. They say me as a human being, if you want to install oxygen plant, it is all right. If you don't want to install, it is all right. Keep this 1 crore rupees or 10 crore rupees. Is it all right? What will be my journal entry? Bank account debit to capital reserve. If the conditions are not attached to it, it is directly credited to capital reserve. It should not be routed through P&L account. Now it is not your profit and loss account. If there are future conditions attached to grant, see, now you will have to recognize this over the period during which such expenses to satisfy the condition are incurred. You should install an oxygen plant on this particular land. Then only government will give you 1 crore rupees. Correct. Then try to understand. I cannot write down bank account debit to capital reserve. I'll have to write down bank account debit to deferred revenue or deferred income. And whenever I start doing expenditure, this deferred income will be closed. And slowly and gradually it should be transferred to profit and loss account. Over the period when this relevant expenses, I'm writing it again, such expenses to satisfy the conditions are incurred. It's all right. We'll be doing one question on this also, but whenever it is for non-depreciable asset without any condition, it is directly transferred to capital reserve. When it is future conditions are attached, whenever that future conditions are satisfied, you will have to transfer that grant to your revenue income. It's all right. This is government grant for non-depreciable asset. This portion. We are going to third one. government grant for or revenue government grants. In this particular case, grants are given for revenue expenses. They are not given for purchasing assets. They are given for incurring some expenses. In this case, there are two ways to record it, as we have learned it. Is it alright? It should be systematically credited to P&L account. It can be shown separately, or it can be shown as a reduction in stock. Now, try to understand. Right now, that is the say. Let's take a hypothetical situation whereby government is declaring some revenue grant to say Zydus Cadila. Zydus is a pharmaceutical company. Sorry. What government says right now? You hire a scientist and 80% of salary for next 5 years, government will be paying to that scientist. See, now government has declared it today. So whatever is the salary is 1 lakh rupees per month. What does government says? Government says that it will give 80,000 rupees of the salary. Every year it will give 80,000 rupees as salary to the scientist. Remaining 20,000 is to be borne by Zydus. So what will happen actually is Zydus will pay the scientist a salary of 1 lakh rupees. Government will reimburse 80,000 rupees. That is, government will give 80,000 rupees to Zydus and Zydus will pay a salary of 1 lakh rupees. Now, over the period of time, Zydus will pay 12 lakhs rupees to scientist as a salary. Reduction in cost, try to concentrate. In this case, there will be a profit and loss account. Salary to the scientist. How much? 12 lakhs rupees. You might have received something from government. Instead of crediting it to P&L account, you are reducing it from cost. Sorry, how much? 9 lakh 60,000. Sorry, how 9 lakh 60,000? 80,000 per month government is giving for the period of 12 months. How much will be remaining? 2 lakh 40,000 will be debited to P&L. Now you will say me, sir, it is sure that the scientist is going to remain in our company for 5 years. Shouldn't we record all 5 years grant today? Two conditions for recognizing grant. If it is certain that it is going to receive, in this case it looks like it is certain that you are going to receive it. Second condition which comes into picture is there is a reasonable certainty that you will be able to satisfy the conditions. Now what should be the condition? The scientist should remain in Zydus for next 4 years. No one can give guarantee. I feel, my personal opinion is, in this case grant should be recognized in the year of receipt when the scientist has actually worked in your company, and you should recognize the grant every year. In which method? First method, reduction in cost. Second method, shown separately. This is your profit and loss account. salary is 12 lakhs. Instead of reducing it from cost, we are writing it on credit side by grant recognized. How much grant we have received? 80,000 into 12, that is 9,60,000. Two ways of recording revenue grants. Reduce it from cost, show it separately in profit and loss account. Now, if you have received grant of 5 years together, then there is no other option but to pass a journal entry, bank account debit to deferred grant. And every year, deferred grant account debit to cost or to P&L account, depending upon the method. If it is reduced from cost, it is to cost. If it is credited to P&L account, it will be directly to profit and loss account. If you have received your grant simultaneously, means all the grants are received together. Then this type of journal entry will be passed and it will be treated as deferred income. So, government grant received for depreciable asset, non-depreciable assets and revenue grants. We have taken a bird's eye view of all the methods, and now we will be going to some practical questions whereby we will be actually learning how to record government grants. This question number 15, page number 18.4. Gauripati set up a new factory in a backward area and purchased the plant at a cost of rupees 500 lakhs. Purchases were entitled to input tax credit of 10 lakhs. Input tax credit, if it is available, it is reduction from cost. Practically, it is not your cost. You can go to a chapter or subject of GST and understand that. Here we are concerned with, and also government grant to the extent of 20%. Subsidy. Determine the depreciable value of the asset. How much amount of asset should be depreciated? First, what was the cost? 500. If input tax credit is available, here from the sentence you can easily term that it is available. So your net cost will be 400, and out of which government will give you 20%. 20% of 490 and not 500. See, government understands that your cost is 490 and not 900. So 490 into point, that is 90. It will be government grant. Is it all right? Which method I have used? Reduction in cost. Government grant on depreciable asset. Is it all right? And my depreciable amount, the amount which will be depreciated over number of years, will be 390. This will be depreciable. And this is what question was asking. If number of year is 5 years, then 392 divided by 5 will be depreciation per annum. Sorry. Which method we have used practically? It is a depreciable asset reduced from cost. Sorry. Question number 16 is homework 17. 17. K Limited purchases a fixed asset for rupees 75 lakhs. Estimated useful life is 5 years. With a salvage value of 7,50,000. On the purchase of the asset, there was a government grant of 15 lakhs. pass the necessary journal entries in the books of the company for first 2 years. All right. So let me first decide the method. Start it. First method is a reduction from cost. So what will be your depreciable value is 75 lakhs minus minus 15 lakhs will be 60 lakhs because 15 lakhs rupees should be reduced from cost. Then what will be depreciation every year will be 60 lakhs minus SLN 7.5 divided by, this is 60 minus 7.5 divided by, that is 10.5 lakhs. After calculation, let me pass the journal entry. When machinery is purchased, what journal entry will be passed? Machinery account debit to cash. How much you have purchased? 75 lakhs. Number 2, when grant is received, bank account debit. How much grant is received? 15 lakhs. What you have done, which method you have followed? Reduce from cost. So cost, instead of writing it as income, I am reducing the cost of machinery. If I increase the cost of machinery, it is debited. If I reduce it, it will be credited. It is 15 lakhs rupees. What is the value of machinery right now? 60 lakhs. Will be depreciated over 5 years. What will be remaining is 7.5 lakhs. Every year, depreciation journal entry. Every year this will be the journal entry. Depreciation account debit to machinery. How much? 10.5 lakhs. This will be for how many years? 1 to 5. You will say, sir, government has given us 15 lakhs rupees. Where we have credited, where we have treated it as income, where we have written it P&L account. It is indirectly routed through depreciation. Your depreciation amount, had you not reduced this amount from the cost, your depreciation amount would have increased. And this decrease in depreciation is nothing but your benefit, which you are recording it in your books of accounts. This is the method, reduction from cost. Second method, deferred income. Again, when machinery is purchased, it is machinery to cash, 75. When the grant is received, it is bank account debit to machinery. No, you are now not reducing the cost to deferred income. How much? 15 lakhs. At the end of first year, depreciation journal entry. What will be your cost of asset? 75 lakhs minus 7.5 lakhs scrap value divided by 5. This will be every year's depreciation. It is a 75 minus 7.5 divided by 5. That is 13.5 lakhs. Depreciation account debit to machinery. What was the answer? I forgot. 75 minus 7.5 divided by, that is 13.5. This will be every year from 1 to 5 years. All right. For a deferred grant, you have received grant of 15 lakhs. Will be useful for 5 years because your machinery will be having a useful life of 5 years. It is logical to credit every year profit and loss account by 15 lakhs over 5 years, which is nothing but 3 lakhs. Start. This is already credited. Deferred income account debit. So this will be lowered 3 lakhs to profit and loss account. This is recognition of government grant in profit and loss account. Now if you will see under both the method, this is P&L debit. Huh? Depreciation will be ultimately closed in P&L. What is debit in P&L is 10.5. Here also this will be P&L debit. Depreciation will be ultimately transferred to P&L account. What is P&L net debit will be always a 10.5. Is it right? In this case, the grant is incorporated in reduced depreciation. In this case, depreciation is normally treated and grant is recognized separately. Is it all right? So these are the two methods for depreciable assets. Is it all right? We are going to next question. Question number 18 is your homework. We are going to next question. Is it? It is somewhat theoretical question. Give the accounting treatment for grant related to non-depreciable asset. We have understood it. Grant related to non-depreciable asset are credited to capital reserve. Let me open that chart. Are credited to capital reserve. As there is usually no chart to income in respect of such assets, grant do not fall under future obligations of enterprise, also credited to capital reserve. Future obligations or cost. When the grant requires a non-depreciable assets requires fulfillment of certain obligations, the grant is credited to income over the same period which the cost of meeting such obligation is charged to income. The deferred income balance is disclosed in the balance sheet separately with the description deferred government grants under an appropriate approach. It is this. If it is received together, you will have to debit bank. So you will have to credit something which is nothing but deferred grant. We are going to question number 24. Again, somewhat theoretical. Nalanda University has received the following grant during the year. For Ministry of Human Resource to be used for AIDS research 45 lakhs, which includes 3 lakhs to cover indirect expenditure incurred in administrating the grant. See what first journal entry they have passed? Bank account debit to government grant. Is it simple? The answer is yes. Again, they have received from reputed trust to conduct seminar on AIDS for rupees 35 lakhs. Again, it is bank to government grants. Donation from a well-wisher 5 lakh worth of equipment to be used in AIDS research. See why we have not credited it to government grant? Because it is not received from government. It is received from donation from well-wisher. Is not covered under AS 12, is covered under AS 9. During the year, the university spends 32,25,000 rupees for government grants, incurred 3 lakhs rupees overhead expenditure. Overhead expenditures are not treated as a relevant expenditure. No need to understand it over here. And 28 lakhs were spent from grant received from trust. So 32,25,000. All right. First, which grant we have received? From Ministry of Human Resource. How much grant? Bank account debit to government grant. Now you will have to debit bank because it is already received of 45 lakhs. And you have received 35 lakhs from trust, which is government trust. Trust to be set up by center. Is it correct? So trust of central government. Bank account debit to government grants. How much you have received? 35 lakhs. See now, this both grants are conditional grant. Some conditions is to be satisfied. You will have to do some revenue expenditures on it. Is correct. So this will be treated as deferred income. This will be treated as deferred income written on liability side of balance sheet. Whenever you do the expenditure from first grant, how much expenditure you have done? 32,25,000. AIDS research account, research expenses account debit. This is the normal journal entry which is passed. Expenses account debit 35,25,000. To bank, you will have to pay the same amount. The answer is yes. But now as you have already done the expenditure, now you will not have to refund this grant. But how much expenditure you have done? 35,25,000. So rather treating it as deferred income, now 35,25,000 government grant account debit. How much? 35,25,000. Out of how much? 45 lakhs. Can be transferred to which account? Profit and loss account, treating it as income. Because for 35,25,000, now the conditions are satisfied. This grant we have received, we have satisfied the condition, we can recognize it in P&L account. Whenever other expenditures will be made from this 45 lakhs, again in next year, whenever the expenditures are made, it will be credited to P&L account. Out of this, how much expenditure you have done in seminar? Seminar expenses to bank, normal journal entry not related to grant. How much? 28 lakhs. Out of 35 lakhs, you have already spent 28 lakhs. So even that condition is satisfied of organizing the seminar. So government grant from this account debit 28 lakhs, as the conditions is satisfied, can be transferred to profit and loss account. So whenever there are conditions attached to the grant, whatever is a logical way of transferring to P&L account, it should be used. What is the condition? Whenever the expenditures are done, a proportionate amount of money from the grant will be transferred to P&L account. Sir, we have already received, agreed, but you have not done expenditure. When you have received it, you are debiting bank account and you are crediting deferred income account. This income you will be recognizing in P&L account in some systematic way. Are they revenue grants? Yes, these are revenue grants. Question number 25 is your homework. And that will be all for accounting for government grant AS 12. What we'll be doing in next lecture is refund of government grant under AS 12. So that will be a second portion, small portion that will be completing in next lecture.